Success is not a mystery. It leaves evidence. Yet many people spend their lives treating success as if it were some secret locked behind a door that only a fortunate few can open. They look at high achievers and assume they possess something special, something unreachable, something ordinary people could never have. They call it talent. They call it luck. They call it timing. But when you look closely, when you move beyond the headlines and the applause, you discover something remarkable. Success is not hidden. Success leaves evidence everywhere. Every successful person leaves behind clues in the form of habits, choices, disciplines, and sacrifices. The evidence is there for anyone willing to pay attention. The problem is not that success is a mystery. The problem is that most people are fascinated by the results while ignoring the process that created them. We admire the athlete standing on the podium, but we don't see the early mornings, the exhausting workouts, and the countless hours of practice. We celebrate the entrepreneur who built a thriving business, but we often overlook the years of uncertainty, rejection, and persistence. We applaud the speaker who commands a stage with confidence, but we forget the moments they stumbled, failed, and learned from their mistakes. The evidence is always there. Success leaves fingerprints on daily routines. It leaves tracks in how people spend their time. It reveals itself in what people do when no one is watching. Long before success becomes visible to the world, it becomes visible in a person's habits. That is why successful people are often ordinary individuals who consistently do extraordinary things. They are not necessarily smarter than everyone else. They are not always the most talented. They simply develop behaviors that align with their goals. They show up when they don't feel like it. They remain committed when progress seems slow. They continue moving forward when others decide to quit. And that's the evidence. If you want to know why some people achieve more than others, don't just study their victories. Study their routines. Study their mindset. Study how they respond to failure. Because failure itself leaves evidence. Every setback teaches a lesson. Every challenge reveals a weakness that can be strengthened. Every obstacle contains information that can be used to improve. Successful people don't view failure as proof that they should stop. They view it as feedback. They ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of being defeated by difficulty, they become educated by it. That approach leaves evidence too. The greatest advantage available to any of us is that we do not have to start from scratch. Throughout history, people have already walked paths we hope to travel. They have made mistakes, discovered solutions, and achieved remarkable results. Their stories, their experiences, and their lessons are all evidence that success can be studied and repeated. So the next time you see someone accomplishing something extraordinary, don't ask, so lucky. Ask, what did they do consistently that brought them here? Don't focus only on the spotlight. Follow the footprints that led to it. Because success is not a mystery. It is a pattern. It is a process. It is a series of actions repeated over time. The evidence is all around us, waiting to be noticed. The clues have already been left behind. The question is not whether success leaves evidence. The question is whether we are willing to learn from it, apply it, and create our own path forward. And when we do, one day, our own lives will become evidence for someone else's success story. Study the habits of successful people, not just their achievements. One of the biggest mistakes people make is becoming obsessed with the results of successful people while paying very little attention to the behaviors that produced those results. We celebrate the trophy, but ignore the training. We admire the wealth, but overlook the work ethic. We applaud the accomplishment, but fail to study the discipline behind it. The achievement is visible. The habit is hidden, and yet it is the habit, not the achievement, that holds the real lesson. When people look at successful individuals, they often ask questions like, how much money do they make? How famous are they? Or how many awards have they won? Those questions focus on outcomes. But outcomes are only the final chapter of a much longer story. If we truly want to learn from successful people, we must ask different questions. How do they start their day? How do they manage their time? How do they respond when things don't go according to plan? What do they do consistently, even when they don't feel motivated? Those are the questions that reveal the truth, because success is rarely created in the spotlight. It is built in private. It is built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It is built through daily choices that may seem small on their own, but become powerful when repeated over time. Consider any person who has achieved greatness in their field. Before they became successful, they developed habits. They learned to stay focused when distractions were everywhere. They learned to remain disciplined when excuses were easier. They learned to keep going when progress was slow. The world notices the breakthrough, but success notices the preparation. Think about it. A tree does not suddenly appear one day, towering above everything around it. For years, its roots grow beneath the surface, where nobody can see them. The visible growth is only possible because of the invisible work that came first. The same is true for success. What we see as achievement is often the result of years of preparation, learning, practicing, improving, and persevering. The achievement may inspire us, but the habits are what can transform us. The good news is that achievements belong to individuals, but habits can be learned by anyone. You may not have someone's background. You may not have their opportunities. You may not have their resources, but you can study their habits. You can learn how they think. You can learn how they prepare. You can learn how they overcome setbacks. You can learn how they stay committed to their goals. That is where growth begins. Successful people understand that excellence is not an event. It is a habit. They do not wait until they feel inspired to take action. They create routines that allow them to move forward regardless of how they feel. They understand that motivation comes and goes, but discipline remains. And perhaps that is one of the most important lessons of all. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is often hidden in your daily habits. Small actions repeated consistently can create extraordinary results. Reading a few pages every day can lead to great knowledge. Practicing a skill every day can lead to mastery. Making one better choice every day can completely change the direction of your life. So do not be distracted by the applause that follows success. Look deeper. Study the routines. Study the discipline. Study the commitment. Study the habits that existed long before anyone recognized the achievement. because achievements are the rewards. Habits are the reason. And if you learn to adopt the habits that create success, you won't spend your life chasing achievements. Instead, you will build the kind of character, discipline, and consistency that naturally produces them. The achievement may capture attention, but the habit creates the achievement. And that is the lesson worth studying. Discipline often matters more than talent. We live in a world that celebrates talent. We admire people who seem naturally gifted. We watch athletes perform incredible feats. Entrepreneurs build successful businesses. Artists create masterpieces. And leaders inspire millions. From a distance, it appears as though they were simply born with something special. We see the talent, and we assume that talent is the reason for their success. But if you look closely, you will discover a different story. Talent may open a door, but discipline is what keeps it open. Talent may give someone an advantage, but discipline determines how far they go. Talent can help you start strong, but discipline helps you finish strong. The truth is that talent without discipline often goes to waste. Every year, there are gifted individuals who never reach their potential. They have the intelligence, the ability, and the natural advantages, but they lack the consistency required to turn potential into achievement. At the same time, there are ordinary people who accomplish extraordinary things. They may not be the smartest in the room. They may not be the fastest, the strongest, or the most naturally gifted. Yet they succeed because they possess something even more powerful than talent. They possess discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is showing up when motivation is absent. It is staying focused when distractions are everywhere. It is choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. And that is not easy. Most people want success, but they also want convenience. They want achievement, but they want comfort. They want results, but they don't always want the daily effort required to produce those results. Discipline understands something that comfort never will. Today's sacrifice can create tomorrow's reward. Think about the student who studies while others are wasting time. Think about the athlete who trains while others are sleeping. Think about the entrepreneur who continues working when nobody believes in their vision. Those moments rarely receive applause. There are no cameras. There are no trophies. There is no recognition. But those moments matter. In fact, those moments are often where success is born, because success is not created on the day of the competition. It is created during the months and years of preparation leading up to it. Success is not built in front of an audience. It is built in private, through disciplined actions repeated day after day. That is why discipline is so powerful. Discipline does not depend on emotions. Talent can be inconsistent. Motivation can disappear. Excitement can fade. But discipline continues. It keeps moving when progress is slow. It keeps working when results are invisible. It keeps believing when circumstances become difficult. And over time, that consistency creates a gap between those who merely dream and those who achieve. Imagine two people beginning the same journey. One is highly talented, but lacks discipline. The other is average in talent, but highly disciplined. At first, the talented person may move ahead quickly. People may praise them. They may appear destined for greatness, but as time passes, something interesting happens. The disciplined person keeps improving, keeps learning, keeps practicing, keeps showing up day after day, month after month, year after year. Eventually, discipline begins to outperform talent, not because talent stopped being valuable, but because discipline multiplied every opportunity and maximized every ability. The greatest achievements in life are rarely the result of one extraordinary effort. They are the result of countless ordinary efforts performed consistently over time. That is the power of discipline. So if you ever find yourself comparing your talents to someone else's, remember this: your future is not determined solely by what you have been given. It is determined by what you choose to do with what you have. Talent is a gift. Discipline is a choice. And while not everyone is born with exceptional talent, everyone has the opportunity to develop exceptional discipline. When talent and discipline work together, remarkable things can happen. But if you must choose between relying on talent and building discipline, choose discipline every time. Because talent may impress people for a moment. Discipline can transform a life. And in the end, it is often not the most talented person who reaches the top. It is the person who refused to quit, refused to make excuses, and refused to stop showing up. That is the power of discipline. And that is why discipline often matters more than talent. Failure is a clue, not a conclusion. Few words create more fear than the word failure. The moment people hear it, they think of defeat, disappointment, and regret. They think of dreams that didn't work out, opportunities that were lost, and goals that were never achieved. For many people, failure feels like a final verdict, a sign that they are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to succeed. But what if we have been looking at failure the wrong way? What if failure is not the end of the story? What if failure is not a conclusion at all? What if failure is simply a clue? The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not that one group never fails. The difference is how they interpret failure. Most people see failure as a stop sign. Successful people see it as a roadmap. When something doesn't work, they don't immediately ask, "Why should I quit?" They ask, "What can I learn?" That question changes everything, because every failure contains information. Every mistake reveals a lesson. Every setback highlights an area for improvement. Failure has a way of teaching us things that success never could. Success often celebrates what we did right. Failure exposes what we need to do better. Think about a child learn to walk. That child falls again and again. They stumble, lose balance, and hit the ground countless times. Yet no one looks at that child and says, "Perhaps walking just isn't for you." Why? Because we understand that falling is part of learning. Somewhere along the way, however, many adults forget that lesson. We expect ourselves to succeed immediately. We believe that if we fail, we should stop trying. We treat failure as proof of inability rather than evidence of growth. But growth has always been connected to struggle. Improvement has always been connected to mistakes. Progress has always been connected to learning. Failure is often the classroom where success receives its education. The people we admire most did not avoid failure. They encountered it repeatedly. They faced rejection, criticism, disappointment, and obstacles. The difference is that they refuse to allow those experiences to define them. Instead, they allowed those experiences to refine them. Every setback became feedback. Every obstacle became preparation. Every failure became a clue, pointing them toward a better approach. And that is the power of perspective. Two people can experience the exact same failure and walk away with completely different outcomes. One person sees proof that they should give up. The other sees proof that they need to grow. One sees an ending. The other sees a lesson. The event may be identical, but the interpretation changes everything. Failure is often uncomfortable because it forces us to confront reality. It shows us weaknesses we would rather ignore. It reveals gaps in our preparation, knowledge, or strategy. Yet those discoveries are valuable because they point us toward improvement. You cannot fix a problem you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot improve a weakness you refuse to identify. Failure shines a light on areas that need attention. That light is a clue, and clues are meant to be followed. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle. Every clue brings you closer to the answer. It may not give you the solution immediately, but it provides direction. In the same way, failure may not instantly lead to success, but it provides insight that can guide your next step. That is why resilience matters. The people who eventually succeed are often the people who remain curious in the face of failure. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" they ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" That mindset transforms setbacks into stepping stones. So when failure appears in your life, don't rush to write the final chapter. Don't assume the story is over. Don't mistake a temporary setback for a permanent outcome. Look closer. Listen carefully. Search for the lesson. Reach for the clue. Because failure is not a verdict on your future. It is information for your future. It is not a conclusion. It is a clue. And if you have the courage to learn from it, follow it, and grow through it, that very failure may become the reason for your greatest success. Consistency creates results that luck cannot sustain. Everyone enjoys the idea of getting lucky. We admire sudden success, unexpected opportunities, and overnight breakthroughs. We hear about someone who became successful in a short period of time, and we imagine that fortune smiled upon them at exactly the right moment. It is tempting to believe that success is mainly about being in the right place at the right time. But while luck may open a door, consistency is what allows someone to walk through it and stay there. Luck can create an opportunity. Consistency can create a legacy. Luck may give someone a moment. Consistency gives someone a future. The truth is that luck is unpredictable. It comes and goes. It cannot be controlled, scheduled, or guaranteed. One day, circumstances may work in your favor, and the next day they may not. If your success depends entirely on luck, then your success depends on something you cannot control. Consistency is different. Consistency is within your control. It is the decision to keep showing up regardless of how you feel. It is the commitment to continue working even when progress seems slow. It is the discipline to remain focused on your goals when distractions are everywhere. And over time, consistency produces results that luck alone could never sustain. Think about a person who gets lucky once. Perhaps they receive an unexpected opportunity, a promotion, or a breakthrough. That opportunity may create temporary success. But if they lack the habits, discipline, and work ethic required to maintain it, that success often fades. Now think about a person who consistently learns, improves, practices, and grows. Their progress may not be dramatic at first. It may even go unnoticed. But month after month and year after year, they continue moving forward. They build skills. They gain experience. They strengthen their character. Eventually, their consistency creates results that appear extraordinary to others. The world often sees the outcome and calls it luck. But what looks like luck is frequently the reward for years of consistent effort. Consistency has a unique power because it turns small actions into significant achievements. A single workout may not transform your health. A single page read may not transform your knowledge. A single practice session may not transform your skill, but repeated consistently over time, those small actions become powerful. A drop of water may seem insignificant, but over time it can shape stone. In the same way, small, consistent actions can shape a life. Many people underestimate this principle because they are focused on immediate results. They want dramatic changes overnight. They want success to arrive quickly. When results do not appear immediately, they become discouraged and abandon the process. But consistency understands something important. Meaningful success often takes time. The seed does not become a tree overnight. The building is not completed in a single day. Great achievements are built one step at a time, one decision at a time, one effort at a time. Consistency embraces that reality. It trusts the process when the results are not yet visible. It continues working when the rewards have not yet arrived. It understands that today's effort is an investment in tomorrow's success. And that is why consistency is so powerful. There will always be people waiting for lucky breaks. There will always be people hoping that circumstances will suddenly change. But the people who create lasting success are usually the people who focus on what they can control. They keep learning. They keep improving. They keep showing up. When others stop, they continue. When others become discouraged, they persevere. When others look for shortcuts, they trust the process. Eventually, the gap begins to widen. The consistent person becomes stronger, wiser, more skilled, and more prepared. And when opportunities finally appear, they are ready to take advantage of them. That is another secret people often miss. Consistency does not eliminate the need for opportunity. It prepares you for opportunity. Luck may create an opening, but consistency ensures you are capable of seizing it. So never underestimate the value of steady progress. Never dismiss the power of small daily efforts. Never believe that success belongs only to the fortunate, because luck can create a moment of success. Consistency can create a lifetime of success. Luck may get you there once. Consistency can keep you there. And in the end, the achievements that truly last are rarely built on chance. They are built on the daily decision to keep moving forward, one step at a time, long after everyone else has stopped. If someone else has done it, there is a path you can learn from. One of the most empowering truths in life is this: if another human being has achieved something worthwhile, There is a path behind that achievement that can be studied, learned, and applied. That does not mean every journey will be identical. It does not mean every person will face the same challenges or receive the same opportunities. But it does mean that success leaves behind lessons, and those lessons are available to anyone willing to learn. Too often, people place successful individuals on a pedestal. They look at extraordinary achievements and convince themselves that those accomplishments belong to a different category of people. They say they're special, they're gifted, they're different from me. As a result, they admire success from a distance instead of learning from it. But successful people are not superheroes. They are human beings. They have experienced fear. They have faced doubt. They have made mistakes. They have encountered obstacles. And yet they found a way forward. That is what makes their stories valuable. Every success story contains a roadmap. Every achievement contains a lesson. Every breakthrough contains clues that others can follow. Imagine trying to climb a mountain for the first time. The journey may seem overwhelming. The path may appear impossible. But then you discover that others have already reached the summit. Suddenly, something changes. The mountain is still challenging, but now you know it can be done. More importantly, you can study the routes they took, the mistakes they made, and the strategies that helped them succeed. The same principle applies to life. Whether your goal is to build a business, excel in a profession, master a skill, improve your health, or become a better leader, there are people who have already traveled that road. Their experiences provide valuable guidance. Their successes reveal what works. Their failures reveal what to avoid. That is why learning from others is one of the fastest ways to grow. You do not have to make every mistake yourself. You do not have to start from zero. You do not have to reinvent every solution. You can stand on the lessons that others have already learned. The most successful people understand this principle. They are students before they become masters. They read, they observe, they seek mentors. They ask questions. They remain curious. Instead of assuming they know everything, they actively search for wisdom from those who have gone before them. That mindset creates progress because knowledge shortens the distance between where you are and where you want to be. Think about how much time can be saved by learning from someone else's experience. A lesson that took another person 10 years to learn may take you 10 minutes to understand if they are willing to share it. Their journey becomes a gift. Their experience becomes your advantage. But there is another important truth. Learning the path is not the same as walking the path. Many people enjoy collecting information. They listen to speeches, read books, and study successful individuals. Yet, knowledge alone does not create results. Action creates results. The path can be shown to you, but you must choose to walk it. The lesson can be taught, but you must choose to apply it. The example can inspire you, but you must choose to act on it. Success leaves clues, but clues only matter if they are followed. And while your journey may not look exactly like anyone else's, the principles of success remain remarkably consistent. Hard work still matters. Discipline still matters. Persistence still matters. Learning still matters. Character still matters. Those principles have guided successful people throughout history, and they continue to guide successful people today. So whenever you face a challenge that seems impossible, remember this. Somewhere, someone has already overcome something similar. Somewhere, someone has found a way through difficulty, uncertainty, and doubt. Somewhere, someone has left behind lessons that can help you move forward. Do not let their success intimidate you. Let it educate you. Study their journey. Learn from their experiences. Apply their lessons. And then create a path of your own. Because if someone else has done it, there is a path you can learn from. And if you are willing to learn, adapt, and persevere, one day your own journey may become the path that inspires someone else. As I conclude, I want to leave you with one final thought. Success is not reserved for a chosen few. It is not hidden behind a secret door. It is not a mystery waiting to be solved. Success leaves clues. It leaves evidence in the habits of those who achieve greatness. It leaves lessons in the discipline they practice every day. It leaves wisdom in the failures they overcome. It leaves proof in the consistency they maintain when others give up. And it leaves a path that anyone can study, learn from, and follow. The clues are all around us. The question is not whether success leaves clues. The question is whether we are willing to recognize them, whether we are willing to learn from them, whether we are willing to apply them. Because the distance between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow may be hidden in the small choices you make every single day. So study the clues, trust the process, stay disciplined, learn from failure, remain consistent, and never stop growing. If you do, success will no longer be something you admire from a distance. It will become something you experience for yourself. And one day, when others look at your achievements and wonder how you did it, they won't just see your success. They'll see the clues you left behind. Thank you.